The idea was to approach it from Maverick's character and figure out what is the emotional journey that he's going to go on in this film. And for me, what people really remember from the first film, more than the volleyball, more than the aerial sequences, is that friendship between him and Goose. And so it felt like very ripe kind of emotional place to pull from, and the idea of trying to reconcile with Goose's son would be a great place to start and build this story around. I mean, I think the biggest challenge was just figuring out the story, because that's what I think kept Tom from going back to this character for 35 years. So everything else is something you can get through with hard work, but finding that story that is the reason to come back, that was probably our first and biggest challenge. And, hopefully people respond to what we did. Yeah, I mean, we knew we wanted to be able to shoot these aerial sequences for real, but I think the level of performance in some of these sequences, some of the low-level flying that we did, something that, Tom really wanted to do, and we wanted to make sure we did safe, but how far we were able to push it with the Navy and the pilots that were flying for us, I think where we got to was something we were all really excited about and surprised by at the end. That's impossible, right? You can't say no to Tom. We just, we pushed to do everything we could to kind of deliver the best film possible, the best aerial sequences possible. Tom's obviously a pilot, he's an aerobatic pilot, so he pushed himself and all the pilots to do things I think that haven't been done on film before.
With all due respect, sir, I'm not a teacher. Just want to manage expectations.
The training was intense. The training was nonstop. I mean, we were constantly training with these pilots, over the course of a year. So it was really challenging to be able to get up in the jets with these guys and not pass out or not puke on camera. If you're gonna puke, just make sure that it's not, that the camera's cut.
In order to qualify to even fly in an F-18, we had to do all sorts of training, one being water training. Tarzan learned how to swim on this movie, in addition to flying planes. And we trained with the US swim team relentlessly, several times a week.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in the world that can say they learned how to swim from the US swim team.
No, and I can say, toot his horn. I mean, he's been great, a partner. I'm, like I said, new in the industry, and to work with Glenn to keep me calm. We did our very first scene together, and it was freaking amazing. I was like, yo, I'm kind of nervous. He was like, dude, just chill. You got this. He's himself being a vet, but just the motivation and the competitive nature that he has and he brings out. I mean, he made me feel comfortable, and he brings the best out of me, and I love it. So being up there in the air, trying to see who can pull the most G's has been fun. You can't take that from us.
Wingman for life, dude.
Wingman for life. He could be my wingman any day.
Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
The relationship while shooting it was really impactful and incredible and also necessary. I think the fact that all of us, the actors in this, that we were getting up in these jets for real, it's really complicated and it's really tough. And what these pilots are doing is, there's a reason why they're the best in the world, because the skill set required it's just top notch. So I was really fortunate to have Tom kind of take me under his wing and to, there has to be a lot of trust there, and there was. Tom, right from the beginning, let me know that he was there for me at all times.
I probably had a little imposter syndrome. Sometimes you're on an aircraft carrier and you're standing there and the person opposite you is Tom Cruise, and your brain goes, none of this is making any sense, based on the fact that like yesterday you were like, changing diapers or something. One of the things I'm proudest of is that our cast, I mean, everybody really brought it. Certainly Tom is our leader, but I think everybody made sure and did their part, and I certainly felt lucky to get to do mine. But as an actor, you don't have a lot of opportunities where you're in a scene with Tom Cruise, and I think that's something that I really cherish and will forever.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, playing his ally is very easy because I grew up a Tom Cruise fan anyway, so then there was no acting required once I got with him and am his champion throughout the film. He's a very loyal person, so he, if he likes what you're doing, he encourages you, he keeps feeding you energy, as with all of the other actors and with the crew, so all of those things together really wants that to show up on the screen. Like all the energy he puts into you, me, anybody else, he wants up there. So my relationship with him has taught me to appreciate what I'm doing right now, to put all of my energy into putting something good on the screen. That's what I learned from him.
The relationship is great, right? He over the past 4 years we've been working together. He's been a great friend, a great mentor, somebody I can call upon if I need advice, if I need help with anything. I'm very fortunate to have him in my corner, and me starting off in this industry, I'm glad that I have him to set the mold of, what to expect moving forward in my career. He's somebody great to try to strive after, and I'm very thankful to be in his world, of movies and a part of his babies, his franchises.
Well, I prefer the term antagonist, but yes, I think it's exciting to play opposite Tom. There's a push-pull, and you can't have one without the other. So I represent kind of the obstacle and the boss and all of the rules that Maverick, by his very name, is set up to kind of push against. So you need that person in the movie. I'm very happy to be that person. It was super fun to do, and I think it came out very well. So I'm happy and humbled and excited to be a part of this whole process. I'm definitely more in the woof category because I was very happy that I did not have to go through the months and months of training and the stress on the body. I'm 51 years old. I was happy to let that go to the younger generation, and of course the ageless Tom Cruise, who was doing it as well. But it's a tremendous amount of preparation and training and stress and everything. The great thing about the film is that you see it all. I mean, it's some filmmaking and some images and some visceral experience that you've just never seen in a movie, and we put it all right there in high definition at 40 feet tall. It's pretty cool.
I didn't get to do any flying scenes, therefore I had no training, but the flip side of that is I got to work with Tom more than a lot of people, because I did the scenes with him on the ground. When you're flying, you don't really get to act with him that way. So I looked at the benefit of being in scenes with him and being his ally as a plus.
I consider all naval aviators heroes. I think Hangman just has a little bit more unapologetic swagger. I don't think I ever go into any role thinking anybody's a villain, but at the end of the day, Hangman's there for the same reason, which is to save the world. So you can't call him a bad guy.
Tom has this saying, the audience is never wrong. So I've never played a character that's kind of stepping into the shoes, but I'm just glad that I'm not playing Goose, that it's not a remake. To be able to play a character that you get to kind of figure them out on your own and have some ownership over that, I think that made it easier for me.
I think it's just been a dream come true start to finish. It's a very rare thing in which you can be a part of a legacy like this, work with your heroes, and also just make new friends where you're getting to rise up in this town together. And we've all gotten to learn from Tom, who this movie wouldn't have been possible without 40 years of experience behind him of pushing the limits like he has. So it felt great to shoot the movie. It feels better to stick the landing and to have delivered on it and to give audiences something exhilarating that they've never seen before on screen.
Well, I couldn't have answered it any better than what he said. You took the words out of my mouth. I actually told him to say that.
Yeah. Word for word.
Word for word. You didn't paraphrase at all. This guy.
Whoa.